Welcome to Week 2 of GPH 738, Program Planning and Evaluation. This week's topic is Logic Models as a Planning and Evaluation Tool. There are 3 learning objectives this week. Recognize and describe the components of a logic model. Break down a logic model into components that are linked to the phases of the precede-proceed model, and discuss the use of logic models as planning and evaluation tools. As a planning tool, logic models help you to understand how your program impacts short-term and longer-term objectives. You can use your logic model to visually see if your assumptions and the thinking, the logic, behind your program make sense. Logic models are also a helpful evaluation tool. In evaluation, you often do not have the resources to measure every possible indicator, so a logic model can assist you with identifying the critical aspects of the program for evaluation. There's no one way to develop a logic model, but there are common elements across methodologies. Your course materials will walk you through how to construct a logic model, but here are some examples. This logic model uses a format that I often use, which starts by describing the resources put into the program on the left side, and then describes the short-term, intermediate, and long-term objectives on the right side. Sometimes you will also see the goal of the program presented to the far right, or it may be noted at the top or the bottom of the model. I also like the color coding on this one. Sometimes models can be quite complex, and the use of colors can clarify relationships within the model. And here is another good example of how colors can be used to show relationships. And then this logic model uses shapes to help describe the program. I wanted to include this logic model for you because it is really complicated, and sometimes that happens, particularly if the model is describing a large or a multifaceted initiative. And of course, here is an example of a precede-proceed logic model. Okay, so let's talk about your course materials. The only lecture you have this week is the one you are currently watching, so that's good. You do have a lot of readings, though, for this week. They are a combination of toolkits that describe how to construct logic models and papers that illustrate how the precede-proceed model was applied to the development of programs. You also have several sample logic models to review. And finally, there are 2 recommended materials if you want to read more about constructing logic models. For the discussion board this week, consider the 5 sample logic models. Which 1 or 2 do you find easiest to understand? Describe what specific aspects of them make them easy to understand. For your paper this week, create a logic model from the Binkley paper and then discuss how it can be used as both a program planning and as an evaluation tool. And you have 2 pages max to make your point. Please see your syllabus in the Learning module on Blackboard for more information, and always ask your instructor if you have any questions.